I founded the company in 2010, and we had quite a long time, 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years of finding our way, trying a few different things. And then in 2014, we did our first off-grid project where we were hybridizing a diesel generator. And then we did a few other off-grid projects also in the community segment, so villages in Tanzania, where we built and operated two mini grids in villages, providing power to about 500 off-grid households. And then from there, we went into the commercial and industrial segment, as it's called. So basically B2B solar in more urban and peri-urban environments, in our case, then in Ghana and Kenya. Redavia, rents out solar farms to businesses, medium-sized businesses. Mainly our customers like to lease solar farms from us because it reduces their power costs and reduces their carbon emissions without any upfront investment. So we make the investment and our customers save money from day one and reduce their carbon footprint from day one compared with the situation before solar was put at their site.
What was their situation before? Was it like, relying on their local grid or?
Yeah, maybe Afan, you want to explain a little bit how it works technically?
Well, so basically we deploy the solar farms and we operate on grid. Can you hear me? Yeah. So we deploy the solar farms and we operate on grid. So what we basically do is we provide the solar energy, which is most of the times or almost all the times cheaper than the grid energy. So during the lease, basically we lease the solar plants, and during the lease term, we provide that energy, making them savings during the lease term. And after that, we hand over the solar plants to the customer. And after that, for the next 13 to 20 years, that energy is basically free for them. They don't have to invest anything upfront. They pay us back from the savings they make over the grid bill. So there is no upfront cost. And while from the gross savings they make over the grid energy, they paid like 90% of that to us and make 10% savings during the lease term. And after that, those gross savings are basically theirs when we hand over the plant to them.
Trying to do this right. I don't think we're perfect, and it is difficult, right, to do it right. But I think we're coming from the right place, and we're doing what we can to go there, engage, and help.
Maybe to add just one point to that from the external side, we are dealing with business customers in Africa, and colonialism. If you look at that, you always had a kind of asymmetric approach to people. You had somebody who was giving, or somebody who was punishing. And you had a little guy locally who was in fact punished or who received something. In our respect, to our business, it's completely different. What we are doing, we are serving professional business customers. We are doing solar for local companies. And if you look at that from my perspective, if I look at that, those people that we are speaking to, they are all professional. They are not different than entrepreneurs or business leaders or managers in other companies. They are motivated by what they achieve. They are motivated by how they can bring their company forward and how they can create value in their company. And we are a company who supports them to go on their mission. We are not talking, in fact, asymmetrically from top to down, but they are our partners. They are our business partners. We are delivering services to them. We must make them happy that they continue doing business with us. So we take them seriously. There is no colonialism in that respect, but it's the same level of dealing together with people.
I actually think this idea of the customer as king is really important, particularly for a company like Redavia. Right? I think our customers are primarily only African businesses, and by having startups, the superpower of startups is customer service, right? Focus on customers, because that's the only thing we have, basically, right? We're short on capital, short on team, short on everything. But what we have is really happy customers, and our net promoter scores, like our customer satisfaction numbers, are incredibly good. So I think that mitigates a lot of this risk of us coming there with a sort of messianic approach and a sort of elitarian perspective. No, they're the customer. They're ultimately what drives the growth of the business, and that's where I think startup and the right attitude in terms of the sort of geopolitics or the development aspect of it meet, right? Because startups are great at customer service, so that sort of negates any sort of like I said, top down type of attitude, because we're doing our very best to make our customers very happy, and they happen to be in Africa. We happen to be coming from Europe, but at the end of the day, they're the customer, we're the supplier. So we exist by their grace, effectively. They're not the most customer focused companies, right? Understatement of the year. And I think most of our customers are really happy that there's a company that gives them an alternative, at least for part of their electricity. And they are, the difference in terms of attitude and customer service that they get from us versus the national utility is enormous, right? So that's, I think, part of why we're succeeding there also. For me, what's most, what has helped alleviate poverty globally over the last 20, 30 years at, a fantastic rate, right? There's been a huge success in reducing poverty globally, with side effects that we need to deal with. But fundamentally, globalizing, growing economy has pulled, billions of people out of poverty. And I think for Africa, particularly industrializing Africa, we need to make sure that continues to happen. So, and goes further back, basically, into rural areas of, for example, Ghana and Kenya. That means they need better, agro foods processing capabilities. That they need a better cold chain, and we can help with Redavia set those things up so that effectively the global economy puts wealth further back into rural areas of Africa. I think that's super important for us, and I think that's where we have a role to play.
That was a great statement. Just a little idea to add on this one. If you look at the countries which are in the process of industrializing and development, I would also name the context of education and the stability to use that education, develop your motivation into something which brings yourself, your career, your country and the activities you do in your country forward. To this extent, how can we contribute? I think what we can do as a company, as a startup, as a developing and growing companies, we can create a model that is shown to people in these countries, to our customers, to our contractors, to our suppliers, to all these different people, how you can work in a stable environment, in a motivational perspective, and move something forward. And yeah, you have to develop the model. It took a little time to get there, but then you have to live it and you have to do it. And this context grows by itself. Like one of our customers is the Regional Maritime University. We supply them with clean energy, but also support the master program for renewable energies. Like there are students who look at the potential of solar energy, of clean energy, and we look at the data. We support it with creating a lab over there that they have access to technical materials and equipment to verify and try out what they have learned from a theoretical perspective. I guess if you just take it serious and if you do what you do in the right mindset, there are many ways to contribute on that basis of building a framework and supporting with that framework that development can happen.